Hey, how you guys doing today? My name is Danaris, and I am the host of the Mars Show. All right, and we're gonna go ahead and jump right on into the video today. And the title of this video is "Smoked Oxtails with Brown Gravy." All right, and I got this video from Smoking and Grilling with AB. Hope everybody's having a good day. Hope everybody had a good day yesterday, and I hope everyone continues to have a good day for the remainder of such. Now, like I said, we're gonna go ahead and jump right on into it. Let's go.
Show you guys how to make oxtails and gravy. And in here, I'm gonna show you guys a couple of little tips because you got them all different sizes. Now, with that being said, let's get it. Now, this is what we're gonna do, folks. We're gonna go over
Let's
these
get it.
ingredients, right?
I know what I said. I know what I said. We smothered everything, but apparently not. I stand corrected. Okay, I'm man enough to say when or admit to my mistakes and own up to my own accountability. Let's go. Now we're gonna smother these oxtails. Let's go.
So obviously we got the oxtails. Now I'm gonna go in here and show you. They come all different sizes. You know what I mean? So listen, if you can go ahead and get the visual in your brain, look, the bigger part of these are back on the back of the cow, as this is the tail, right? So it goes doop 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 all the way to the end like this. Now you guys gonna
How'd that go, AB?
have some of these. What I do is I'll just wait till I get them inside after I get everything, seared and get a nice color and trimmed up. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna show you where we put these at. Right. So with that being said, look, we got bell pepper, onion, garlic cloves, then we got an array, of seasonings and herbs, right? So listen, don't forget the full ingredient list is on my website. That's smokingandgrillingwithab.com, and that's WITAB.com. Now
Go support. Go
I'm
support.
gonna go ahead and explain this part because a lot of people think making oxtails is like a little bit on the hard side. This is like super easy. And check this out. We're not even gonna be doing these on the stove. I'm gonna be putting them in the oven, right? But before I go ahead and preheat, we just want to get our timing right. So this is what we're gonna do. I'm going to take all of my ingredients that you guys seen right here at the very beginning. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna make this is gonna be our rub. Or, we'll call it a seasoning. Now, what I did was I removed this one right here, this flour, because we got to have it separated, right? This flour is going to be what we add to it to thicken up our gravy, right? So even though we got flour, we're going to go ahead and drop this in just like that. Now we'll take all of our herbs, spices, powders, everything else. We just drop this in here.
Okay.
Now, once we have that in there, this right here is a little bit of a level up for you guys.
See, that wasn't so bad after you condensed everything. I know everybody was freaking out. Oh my goodness, all those ingredients. But it's all right though. We're gonna work through it. We're gonna work through it as we always do. Let's go.
Check this out. This is my bacon sea salt. You see that right there? We're gonna go ahead and add a little bit to this. Just a couple of generous pinches to it. Now, let me grab my whisk. Now I'm gonna go ahead and just mix this together. Now, one of the good things is when you're dealing with flour, you can see all of the different colors that your herbs and your spices and everything is. So you can see when you have everything, mixed properly. Okay, so just to give you guys some information, right? So I said this was bacon sea salt. To be honest with you, that's like it is bacon sea salt. You guys can see the color. Look at these two right here, right? We just made this to like a really like we really made this like an all-purpose, or let's just call this like a seasoned salt, right? But the base of it is this right here. I keep this, so when you guys see me filming, you guys always know that I keep that Branch and Vine bacon sea salt, which is truly a vegan, product. That's where I get it from. So when you see these colors like that, that's what I'm doing. I don't want to gatekeep from nobody. I want you guys to have exactly what I have. And then once you do it and you taste it, you'll start adding it to different things that you do, and then you be on your way. You'll be talking.
That's what we talking about. We just building the foundation, man. Y'all ain't gotta be such a stickler. You know what I mean? Just go ahead and get in there and build it to your palate, as we always say. You know what I mean? Make it the way you and your family would like. Enjoy.
Talking to me, and then I'll be doing the same thing that y'all be doing, out here, right? So we got it. You can see my flour. Oh yeah, we looking good. Now, let me go ahead and take my lid off. What I'm gonna do is let me turn my fire because we want to start warming up some of this oil, right? And I always use Branch and Vine. Right, this is Branch and Vine garlic infused olive oil. So we got a medium flame underneath the bottom. Go ahead and coat this bottom down here. Listen, these are oxtails, folks. They are going to render down.
Now I'm not gonna keep preaching about this Dutch oven, but I guess I am in a way. Like all-star in the kitchen, all-star showtime in the kitchen. Let's go.
Right. So as we bring this up,
as you can tell, because my sweater is not fitting as well as it used to.
The medium, heat. Right now, I bring the oxtails into play. Right. So now let's put this down right here. I want you guys to look. You can see, look at the fat on here. We want to go ahead and trim just a little bit of this fat off of here, just like what you guys are seeing. Right. This is what we want to do. take some of this off. Believe me, oxtails are going to create their own, fat. You know what I mean? We don't want to just like trim it like we doing a brisket or nothing like that. It's not no competition, but you guys can see how it's like loading up. You see this here? Yes, sir. All right, so if you guys come in and look at this right here. Now you can get a visual. If I didn't do no trimming, this will end up in my Dutch oven, and we're going to have a lot of grease, right?
All of that. And we try to cut down on as much grease as possible. At least I am. I'm going to quit speaking for you guys. As much as possible, and you should be
So
too.
I'm just going to take that and just put that right there. Now I'm going to get another one. I'm going to look at it. Listen, I'm not doing a competition trim. I'm just getting rid of some of the fat that I can see. You know what I mean? Not all the way. Just any of those big fat deposits that you run into, we just get rid of those.
And like, for real, like you definitely got to cut that fat off. Because it all just sits on top at the end anyway. So you might as well just cut it all off as much as possible. So I agree. I concur with you, AB.
I can see that my olive oil is nice and hot, right? So all I did was coat this. Remember, this is seasoned, flour now, right?
Okay.
So we'll just take this. And I'm going to set this right in here like that. And there we go. Now, let me just go ahead and do the rest of them. Again, once you got it coated, you want to just put that down. Just make sure it's flat. And all I'm doing here is just running this around as if we was making fried chicken, right? We just want to make sure it's coated on all sides, front and back, top and bottom, right? So when it look like this, you're good.
AB said front, back, side to side. Okay,
look, you can see I started turning these over. I just thought I'll show you. We still look like that. Now I just turn them over, right? Now we're gonna brown the sides also. And to be honest with you, this next time I'm gonna finish everything that I have inside of here. But right now I just wanted to get it this way so you guys can see. You know why? Because after a while we gotta get on here and get on these sides. You want to brown it all the way. We starting to brown all of the sides. I'm looking at them, making sure I got them all. Then once you do have them, now this is a necessary step, folks. If you want your meat to look and to taste right, you got to put that sear on it. And that's all I'm doing. I'm using a medium heat, I put some other ones in here. Now that we're going to start doing the sides on these, right? You see how that's not done? We just put them over here like that. Don't worry. We locking in all of the flavor this way. You see that right there?
Yeah.
Now you want to get yourself another bowl. You know what I mean? You want to put.
It's important to get all those sides cooked or pan seared, as he said. You know what I mean? For sure. So you got to work with a little bit, but it's all good in the income.
All your oxtails in there. Right.
Be all good at the end. All right, better.
You guys can just see that when we put this gravy on this, it's gonna be fire.
Fire.
So I already started letting some of this, my grease and my oil, cool off a little bit, right? This is what we finna do. We finna take this onion. Right now, you could have done this in the very, very beginning. What I'm doing now is I'm just going ahead and prepping this and getting this together. Now you guys can cut this into slivers, however you want to, but I'm gonna show you what I like. And this is it right here. I like to cut mine like into the little rings, right? We just cut them down just like this. You can cut them as thick or as thin as you would like. I try to keep them just so they hold up, and keep the shape.
That cut right there scared me. Culinary perfection, though. Culinary perfection. But that last cut scared me with my thumb issues and all,
Like we doing an onion ring, right? Now it look like I'm going to put a lot of onion in here, but believe me, it's going to render down. In that nature, we'll get rid of that. And then we just pop these in like this, right? Now we're going to cook these down a little bit, but right now I'm just getting them, getting them together. You see this right here? Super easy. You know what I mean? You guys can just figure where I'm going. If you ever see me do my smothered chicken and all of that, you cut them down how you want to.
We have. We definitely have.
But this is just the shapes that I like, right? Then we just hit start. You guys going to like.
Okay, we rolling at 325. Let's go.
This, because now you don't have to worry about having it on the stove, worrying about is anything sticking on the bottom of it. Putting it in here right now, man, this will get the pot nice and hot without that burn on the bottom. You want to grab yourself a whisk here. That fork ain't going to do it, folks. It will, I guess, if you was in a pit, but this is what you're going to need, right? So we got a little oil in there. Now I'm getting ready to come with my flour. I'm going to put my flour in here, and what we're going to do is just keep continuing to whisk a little bit at a time, folks. This will help ensure that we don't have all those lumps, right? We just keep on going, just like you see. Now, what we're doing now is cooking that flour taste out, making sure everything is incorporated, right? If you need to add yourself just a little bit more olive oil to it, you can. You can just watch to see what it does. It's about all we're going to need. Now we just keep whisking.
Now, you can't walk away from this now. And this is definitely a new method, and I like this. You know what I mean? A little dangerous, but you definitely got to really keep a close eye on that flour, real close. But like I said, he cooking the flour taste out, so don't take a whole lot. It doesn't take max heat.
And cooking that flour taste out. I'm going to start adding a little bit of my beef broth to it. You'll see it start to loosen up, right? Look at this. This is why you want to continue to whisk. As you can see, we just want to keep continuing to whisk. Now I'm going to add the rest of my seasoning to it. Then you want to taste it too, but I'm going to wait. Now I could have done two things differently. I could have put my garlic cloves in there.
And we have gravy, and fine looking gravy too.
You know, and try to like get them going. But you run a chance of yourself earning your garlic. So I'm going to add it here. No worries. This is finna cook for a couple hours. Right, so if we just put this in here like this, you guys will see where we're going, right? Look at that right there. And look, I done turned my fire off because we're gonna put this in the oven, right? It's nice and hot. Now, if you were to know why I didn't take these, you know, my bell peppers and put them all the way down, you know, start getting them soft, because we're gonna cook these, like I stated earlier, these gonna be in there for about 2 to 3 hours, right? We wanna get them nice and soft. So if you go ahead and start them on their rendering process, you know what's gonna happen is they're gonna kind of like disintegrate. I like to have my onions, and I'm gonna say onions especially, you know, I like to be able to see them, right? So we'll just put these in here.
I appreciate that, because I was wondering why you waited to this moment to throw them in there, but you want to be able to see them, and I think you want those bell peppers a little crunchy, a little bit, but that's understandable. Okay, AB, I see you. I see
like this, get this going. Don't worry, they're gonna be soft. And what it's gonna do is it's gonna put a whole lot of flavor in this also. But you see that right there? And don't forget, it's going in the oven, so we don't have to worry about nothing, you know, sticking to the bottom of it or anything like that. That's right.
Okay.
I'm just going to go ahead and dust this just a little bit with my beef seasoning. This is perfect. Oxtail, it scream a heavy meat. Come on, folks. And when I say dust, I mean dust. It depends on what seasoning you guys are using. For me, this is a low sodium product, so I'm not adding a whole lot of, you know, sodium to it. We just want to get a little bit of that flavor. And believe it or not, when I tasted that, I could taste the bell pepper and onion just off of that little bit of a hit, right? But we're gonna go ahead and let this cook for a couple of hours. After I introduce these oxtails to it, they're gonna sweat down and put some oxtail inside of this, and now you guys know. All I gotta do is go ahead and make my my gravy. Make my rice. Okay. And you know the rest. All right, so you see that? Yes, I put dusted it with the top, you know, crack some fresh black pepper on there. Now remember the bigger one of these, I like to put these down here at the bottom, right? And actually the size of my crock pot, you know what I mean, it's pretty big, so a lot of it's gonna go inside of here anyway, right? Because we don't have a whole lot. You know, they don't want to sell you, when you go to the store, they're not gonna put all of the big ones in one, because then they couldn't get rid of the small ones, you know? So that's how they do that, folks. Now, these are the bigger ones, right? Now these I'm just gonna put right here, and then these real small ones, I put up here. The heat and everything, they're gonna work their way down anyway, and they'll render down, but we like to put these on top, folks. You know what I mean? Now I'm gonna check these again probably in a couple of, probably about an hour and a half. Right, so we got that going. Now let me go ahead and get myself a spoon, because I like to put some gravy over all of them anyway. But you guys can just see where we're going with it. All right, so look, it already looked.
Hey, now. You can't trust me. You can't trust me in the kitchen, because I'm all in that pot, and I'm not for sure if you can eat that meat yet or not. So I don't know, but I would have. AB, you'd have got me. I don't know.
Magical. I don't know no other word to say even after the fact, because once I get this down where they start falling off the bone and be like super tender, you know what I mean? Then they become something else. But right now, I'm gonna just use the word magical, because you know you guys would love to pour that over some rice now anyway, right? See? And don't forget, I did not go ahead and saute my
guilty as charged
my onions or my bell peppers down, because I want them like this, because they're gonna be in this for a minute, right? So listen, I told you it's gonna go between 2.5 to 3 hours, right? Okay. So I'm finna set myself a timer for an hour and a half just to look at them, to see where we going, to give it a little bit of a stir. Now I'm sticking it into the oven, and then I'll see y'all in just a minute. Okay, so listen, it's been...
This is TV, baby. You just... All right, let's go.
2.5, about 2 hours and 45 minutes, right? Now we done took this out. Listen, I'm so excited. I done already started removing these. If you guys look, I don't want to mess with them because they're super soft. I don't want them to fall apart. I had to delicately, you know, take them out of my, you know, Dutch oven and put them in here. We just gonna leave them there for right now, right? Let's go ahead and address this right here. Look.
Now he said delicately. He's showing out on this. That's basically what he meant right there, because it's just so fragile. We with you though, AB. We with you.
Look at this. See how I got all that? Look at the fat that's on the side of there. That's not gonna really mix in there like that. It's gonna separate anyway. So I'm gonna put something in front of you guys that some of y'all might have not ever have seen. This right here is called a fat separator, right? Now, say I had anything that was need to be strained, that's why it has this right here. You can put it there, and then all the goodness will come down there, and any fat rises to the top. But I know that I got, you know, bell pepper and onion in there. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pour this in here, and we're just gonna let this set, right? So I want you guys to pay attention. Look down there. You see all that? We're gonna get all of this up. Right? Let's just get it. Let me get my spatula. And then I'm gonna let it settle just for 1 second. Oh yeah. Then we're gonna come back and make it nice and rich again.
Oh yeah, I want one. I definitely want one.
You see that right there? And then down at the bottom, that's all of that, you know, the gravy as it's like settling. So what we want to do is we want to get rid of some of this fat, right? So how do we do that? We just put this, unplug this. And if you notice, if I take it and I start doing this, look where all the fat is at the top, right?
Wow.
So I can take this and I can pour some of this out of there. You know what I mean? Because the main thing is it didn't render off a whole lot where it would already be pouring because it's thick, right? Okay. So I just want to show you this action. Look again, look at where all the fat is at. I'm gonna get me something just to pour it over here. Now, if this was like super like pliable and like more like a real, like regular liquid, then this would already be pouring out of here right now. But again, I just want to show you how we can skim some of that off without always having to take ourselves.
Because remember, you cut a lot of that fat off the meat to begin with. So like you said, it did render a whole lot of grease. But I see what you're saying, AB. I definitely gotta get one of these. That's
wild. A paper towel, you know, and get it off the top. So look, I went ahead and put some fire back underneath the bottom here. I just got a medium flame. Now, again, don't forget, this is like super thick, right? It's moving like it's thin, but it's not. Obviously, when I go like this, it doesn't want to, you know, pour out of there, right? So I'm gonna go ahead and just add that back to it this way. We'll leave that. We'll set this up to be washed. I'm gonna bring my whisk, and as it heats up down on the bottom, this is getting ready to loosen up. But look at that gravy there. I got a little bit more of that beef stock right here, right? Yeah, now I want to say this too. We doing beef. Say you don't have no more beef stock, you use everything. You know, you could put chicken in here, right? A lot of people, I don't know what they got going on. You know, I've done that in the past, even in some of my videos, and they get to looking at me and saying, hey, that's chicken stock. Really, we just infused it with some different type of.
Because I thought so. You know what I mean? I always thought you had to use beef or chicken stock, but then I started mixing it up, and I never noticed really a big problem with it. So
flavor, but when you put it all in here together, it just marries. Now look at that right there. You see how that's working? Look at how thin that is. All right, so look, I'm not finna be like just like super greedy with it. You know what I mean? Look, I got a bowl full of rice, right? This is just long grain rice. You know, I made. Look, now look at the gravy. Come on in here and take a look what I'm talking about. Let me make sure I got that off. I see it steaming. Yeah, everything is off, right? I just hit that safety. But look at this right here. This is what you want. I don't mind it being a little bit.
AB, that ain't right. Why you do? AB, I got a gravy problem, okay? AB, I got a gravy problem. And why you do me like that, man? You ain't right, man. You ain't right, AB.
Look, you see them things falling? Look, remember that them bell peppers? See how we can still see some bell pepper? As far as the onion go, it ain't really nothing you can do unless you introduce your onions later into the game. But you know what? All of that has disintegrated and put that flavor in there. This is what we call oxtail.
AB, you ain't right, man. you ain't no good, AB. Like, that's crazy.
Hey, I'm not finna fake nothing or nothing like that. I'm finna pull this out. Really don't need no knife, but I'm gonna get this just so I can have something to hold that bone and pull that meat. But right now, you know what I gotta do? I gotta take pictures of it and make it a star. You guys already know I did, because that's why you're here right now. So with that being said, I'll see you in just a minute. Okay, so listen, I'm tired of my mouth being watery. You know what I mean? Let's just go in here. Look, if you wanna know how, look, you see this right here? You see how this just coming off? How it just peels off of there like that? Oh my goodness. And then, you know, we got enough gravy. I'm gonna go in here and get it like this. Hopefully I can get it on the fork. Ooh, let's get some of that rice and gravy, right? You see that right there? That right there is what we call, I hear some of y'all out there calling it tenderism, which this right here is the way to go. Listen, I don't want to overtalk nothing no more. You know what I mean? You can still see that steam coming off. Yes, sir. Hey, these are bona fide, I'm gonna just say old man certified. Meaning you ain't got to have your grill in your mouth. You can eat these right here. Now I know it's about them oxtails, but it's about that gravy and that rice too, though. Cheers again, y'all.
Salute, salute.
Woo. All right, y'all. I'm gonna stop. One more. I don't know. Maybe I should have put 2 things of bell peppers in this one. The bell peppers kind of like set it off. The onion disintegrated. You know what I mean? It doesn't just let all of its flavor out. It had no more to give, and it's just a perfect blend. Okay. Have you guys ever had something when you eating it and make you instantly give you the itis as it's going down? You know what I'm saying? I just pull off of one side. So with that being said, let me know down in the comment section below, how would you guys serve your oxtails? I guess pretty much everybody that makes it all the same. You know what I mean? We just got different seasoning. Look, the beef seasoning on this right here, it's real nice. Don't forget, it's for them heavier meats. So when you get back there on the back end of that cow, we start calling him an ox, start thinking about that beef, baby. So with that being said, let me know down in the comment section below, you know what I mean, what you think about this video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and tell everybody out there. There's a channel out here to simplify these recipes and taking the mystery out of cooking. And ooh-wee, folks, it's time to eat. I'm out, y'all. Peace.
Hey, all I got to say, AB showed up and showed out as usual. The man had 2 forks. And yeah, I mean, like, he was barely... he really could have just put just the forks on there and just moved them, and that meat just would have just broke off the way he wanted to. Like, for sure. He really broke it all the way down. So that has been long enough. I ain't gonna hold y'all no more. I hope y'all appreciated that, because I know I did. I learned a lot as usual, and see you guys again next time. Later.